Gonna have a puller. Stick a screwdriver down in there where the clutch is. Yep, wrong way. Grease the end of your puller. Yep. Yeah, let's put a little. Put something on it. So we can pop that. Yeah. Oh, baby. It's on there, isn't it? Yeah, let me rethink this. Okay, I've rethought this. Why pull the engine? You're not putting a crank in it. And last time I took that clutch off, I swear I was going to break it. It's hard to get these back bolts, but it's possible. And make sure and mark all your cylinders, your heads, and such. Bag your bolts. Okay, I had to use almost every tool in the arsenal in order to get these back nuts off. These were very difficult. On this one I had to take these hoses off, and I had to take my my choke out of my carburetor. On the other side I actually had to unslide the slide on it. They were extremely tight. I don't know if they need to be that tight. Couple of things I noticed on the far side over there, the clutch side, PTO side, I did see a little wash down the edge there. If you could see it, it's very slight. And got some rust on my crank right there. I didn't see that. I'm going to throw that crank. That's from water setting in it. Well, at least the bearings are above that, so hopefully they don't get rusty or bad. So I'm going to clean the gaskets off of this tomorrow, clean it all up, and dry out the sump. So we could have a base gasket leak. I'm going to make sure we don't have a base gasket leak by using a lot more sealant than I did before, because I see I can. Maybe I'll use a different type. I'm using ultra gray. Maybe I'll use some case bond or something really groovy like that. Not a squeaker in sight, so they all look good. But the pistons, this was a used piston cylinder set. Actually, one cylinder was good. It's original. The two outboard, I think, were squeakers, and I bought cylinders and pistons, putting rings on it, and gave it a light hone. I know this has a Nicosil liner, but you can hone Nicosil. It is a coating. You can lightly hone it to help break in the rings. I didn't like this on every head. Every head has droplets of water. They are all roughly the same color, so it almost like all of them were leaking. Maybe, I don't know. I don't like this either. This little gasket. When I put this little seal in here like this, and then tighten the cylinder head down, it seems like that would leak. So I'm going to find something to put in there, some kind of sealant, something to make that seal a little better, some kind of compound or something when I get my new gasket set. I have all of these marked, the PTO, the center, and the mag side. Yeah, that's mag side. Mag side. Yes, that's correct. All the pistons go with the cylinders, all the heads go with the cylinders. I have them all marked. And of course, when we put this thing together, we're going to observe the rings need to go on the pistons using those little pins right there. They have little pins. They need to go line up with those. Make sure everything's nice and oily. And we will make sure our arrows on the top there are all pointing towards the mag. Observe all those things when we put it together. This thing is a piece of art, and it's funny as these pistons are made by a company called Art, and they say art inside them. Honda makes Art pistons. Art makes Honda pistons. They probably make all the big engines in Japan. They are a piece of art. This engine is a work of art. It's incredible, but it's insane that it makes that much horsepower and it's that small. Okay, till tomorrow. I do. We're going to have a look at each one of these units at a time. We're going to look at your needle bearings, your pin bearing. There's my clip. Cleanliness is important. I'm not going to clean the head or the top of the piston. Doesn't look too bad really. I'm just not going to do that. I might wipe it out with a rag, like because it's really not that bad. I really like using Klotz oil because it really runs clean. It smells nice. There's all kinds of advantages to using Klotz oil. I'm going to look at the cylinders also and make sure they're not cracked. I'm most interested in the mag side cylinder. Or the PTO side rather. This is the mag side. But I'm most interested in the PTO side, and I'll tell you in a minute. Now, this is the mag side. So, your pull start is here. Your piston is going to go this way with the arrow pointing this way. So, it's going to go in such. So, we're set up almost perfect, because when I go to put this on, I'm going to be on the right side of the sled, and I'm going to tap this in. Once I get the piston in the cylinder, I'm going to put it down, tap it in like such, and then put the I'll have to look at that. I might squeeze the rings and try to fit the cylinder on. I might do that. I just might. Let me try that once, maybe. We'll see. I'll have to look at it and see. Again, I'm going to clean the top of the piston as well as the head. And pretty much that carbon just wipes right off. These are original Art pistons. They're not aftermarkets or Wiseco or anything. Factory bore. So we're going to do one at a time. Of course, how else would you do it? One at a time. You can't do it 6 at a time. When I put everything together, I have a little deal with some oil in it. Everything's going to be, make sure we get everything really oiled really good when we put it all together. Of course, I'm going to use all new gaskets, all new seals. And I'm going to try to find a different sealant. I didn't quite like that ultra gray I used. I really didn't. I think I'm going to use some of that Permatex copper. That seems to look pretty good, a little bit better than the ultra gray. So we're going to try that. And let me show you this. Cleanliness is, of course, is important. So when I get each one of these assembled, I'm going to place them here, and then I'm going to cover them with a paper towel until I get my gaskets. So not going to take the exhaust off. Don't need to. Should be all right like that. Let me show you something else that is Captain Obvious. This was really stuck in my craw last night as I was mulling this whole mess over is this. The PTO side crank throw has got rust on it, but the center does not, nor does the mag side have rust on it. That looks like it, but it's not. It's not any rust. Not like this one. This one has real rust. Real rust right there. Has some real rust on it. So, that tells me, and it has a little trail right here too I don't like. So I think this base gasket was leaking into this cylinder. Now, why are all the rest of the cylinders wet? Well, the charge is in the crankcase, and there isn't any seal between each cylinder. So the charge is what it is inside it. And they share the charge, sort of, because there are open bearings in there between these. And the bearings, you know, of course, the charge will go between them. But they're high enough up where if there was water laying in the bottom, it would stay in this one and not in the other two. But when you started it, of course, all three would get a nice blast of glycol coolant, you know. So I'm thinking there's our problem right there. That is Captain Obvious right there. He didn't like also the way I tore the gasket already, but I didn't like the way it just didn't stick right there at all. It's like I didn't get enough sealant on it or something is askew. When I put this together, I'm going to use lots of sealant. A wire wheel on your bench grinder makes quick work of these gaskets. Works well on the coolant Raider 6000, or whatever this says. It's the little coolant pipe that goes on the head. Works really well. Under here are my cylinders I've gotten covered up. Under here is my cleaned surfaces. I threw some oil down the crank too and on the bearings as well, and kind of worked that a little bit, just some clots. Put this over there to keep any kind of crap that I might have working on this thing might go down there. So, and you don't want anything going down there, trust me. Okay, let's fix the crack now and the part on the hood. Sounds like there's some celebrating going on in there. Too much celebrating going on out there. Okay, this little piece, let me show you. This piece right here, in between the lights, is kind of come askew. I'm looking at this, and what I'm guessing is it had a tab on it at one time, and the tabs kind of broke off. So I pulled it through and clipped a pair of vice grips on it, and so I'm going to have to engineer something here. Maybe a bolt going through that probably work, and I don't know, a little sealant or something to bolster it. Maybe some window urethane. Hey, let's talk about engineering for a second. I hate it, okay, because it's already been engineered. Every part on this vehicle here, every part from stem to stern was put on a drawing board by some egghead with a pocket protector, and he can shoot out of his head calculations at light speed. What I'm saying is this thing was engineered by brilliant people. In order to be an engineer, I can't tell you how brilliant you have to be. You have to be very good at the slide rule and the calculator and the calculations and the geometry and all that stuff. You have to be really good. Which leads up to my rant here about engineering. I watched a video this morning of a guy's engine who was running lean, and so he took a drill and drilled now this is a vehicle that has been engineered already, so it's spot on. Trust me, it is. Just something else is wrong with it where it's causing it to run lean. Don't know what. But if you put the stuff in it that it originally had, it'll work. Amazing. No, it's not amazing because it's already been engineered. Everything has been thought out to the nth degree. Okay, when I got this sled, let's give an example. I bought it in Colorado at 6,000 feet. And at 6,000 feet, focus. Focus. Focus, you. Okay. At 6,000 feet, it had those pilot and main jets and weights on the clutch. Now, right there are calculations that when you bring it down, you need to fatten it up. And what you do is you buy, oh my God, there's that word, buy new jets, a new pilot jet, new main jet, change your needle setting and your weight setting on your clutch because you're at a different altitude, okay? Don't go buy yourself a set of drill bits and drill into those already micro fine, perfectly engineered jets that are in it already. Find the problem, figure out what altitude you're at, fix the problem that way. Like maybe some new jets. Certainly these vehicles have been used at 6,000 feet, and certainly they have been used at 500 feet. That's why there is a sign right there on the hood, and it tells you what to use. Already been engineered. You don't have to grind, and you don't have to drill, and you don't have to do any of that BS. It's great that you can do it, but you don't have to do that. It's such a huge waste of time and parts to do that because all the thinking has already been done by eggheads with slide rulers, and there it is. Now, back to this. I guess what we're going to do is put a pin through there. So if it's a drivability issue, fix it right. Don't try to engineer something when it's already been engineered. I've got a bolt going through there. That seems to work all right. And now I'm going to throw a little of the old black into her. Yeah, that's nice. This doesn't stick to anything but windshields and you know, properly prepared metal surfaces, but it acts as a great cushion. This is Beta Seal, what you install urethane or glass with. It's just my. There's several different styles, but I like the 418. It's not a good gasket maker or anything like that, but as far as something that acts as a cushion or a suspension or keep something from rubbing, if you can make a mechanical bond, and that is if you can take and wrap it around it, it'll act as a great like a gasket or a, geez, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a bushing, and once it hardens, I'm going to leave those vice grips on there, and then once it hardens in a couple of days, I'll take them off of there, and it will be a great bushing around there, and yeah, be great. You probably never get it off again, but what are you going to do? The other side of this coin is if you're going to engineer cosmetic things, you know, that's fine. I've got some engineering tape on my seat there and that kind of thing. But man, when it comes to the drivability of the vehicle, the fuel mileage, the transmission working properly, the electronics working properly, the engine huffing the gas properly and exiting the gas properly, you know, do it the right way, man. And it's already been engineered, and the thing will run right. Don't care what it looks like. You could paint this with a roller and some house paint, it wouldn't matter. But when it comes to the stuff that really does matter, that really does matter. That looks like hell, but it'll work. What I did is I drilled at either ends of the crack, and then I drilled along it, and I squirted some urethane in there and kind of paddled it down, and then I went up underneath and did the same thing. So it has kind of a lock, a mechanical fix. So you know, it won't stick to the plastic, but it'll act as a mechanical buffer in between there. And since I drilled both the ends of the crack, it should stop it. So this thing's been probably rolled because of the Frankenstein windshield. So, but cosmetic, it's also missing a mirror too. But cosmetically, I don't really care about it. So, this is a feature that needs to have, though, right here, some sort of screen or something there, simply because you hit a big drift or powder or something, and you got all that snow going in your engine. You need something to deflect that. So a little bit, anyways. Doesn't matter if a little bit goes in there, but wads of it, that's a whole different thing. Okay, I'm going to need a tube of some sealant and a can of brake clean. I think there's a parts cleaner because I'm out there. In fact, empty can. Bonanza. Park this back and wait for my gaskets.